you go on to Rutgers, and obviously you leave early because you want to go and help your mom, and the Capitol Hill story kind of runs its course. But the college, that topic is very interesting as we fast forward for a quick moment nowadays, because that talk of should you go to college? It's expensive, the cost, the debt, right? I pay student loans all the time. It's not fun, right? Is that something that you would advise a young person to maybe think about? Hey, you don't have to go to college route, because again, you went and it didn't work out for you. You left and you still, here you are, a successful entrepreneur in real estate. If you were talking to that young person today coming out of high school who just was not sure if college was the route for them and they didn't want to take on the debt, how would you, seeing that person, how would you advise them?
I mean, it's a very interesting question. My mother told me when I was a senior in high school picking schools, she said you don't need to go to college because you shouldn't be a doctor, and unless you're going to be a lawyer, you shouldn't go. And if you're going to go into real estate, you can do that differently. I was hell-bent on going to college. So I would tell people that if you don't have a clear pathway as to what you want to do, then I would delay going to college until I figured that pathway out. And then if I knew the pathway, then I would ask myself, is going to college the solution? As an entrepreneur, I don't think that college is necessarily the answer. There was one of the stories written about me years ago, or I was included in, it was called Hail to the College Dropouts. And it had Bill Gates, me, Buffett, Bill Gates, me, Larry Ellison, and a few others who had dropped, Zuckerberg, and so on. And for me, I realized it was a waste of time for me at the end of my freshman year. I mean, I'd spent my last 2 years of high school on Capitol Hill as a page and then an intern for 3 very powerful members of Congress. And so I went to school from 6 in the morning until 10:30, and then walked across the street from the Library of Congress to the Capitol, of the U.S. Capitol, to go to work. And then I worked until 6 or 7 o'clock every day, and then practiced basketball. My practices started at 7 p.m. and got home and did my homework and got to bed about midnight and got up at 4 in the morning. So I was busy. Yeah. College was an anticlimactic experience. But what was a big moment for me is I was sitting in a political science class, and the professor was telling us all how legislation got done in the Congress. And I kept telling him he was wrong because I just spent 2 years working there. And that kind of stuck with me. And I was like, wow, he's just wrong on this. I mean,
imagine all the other stuff he's teaching you wrong.
Exactly. And once I decided, I decided I wasn't going to go into medicine, and I did that in my freshman year. Then I said, okay, I got to figure it out. Yeah. And I kind of hung on a little bit and took some classes at University of Maryland while I was beginning to work. But then after that, I just curated my education. I took real estate classes that could help me in business, and I started off as an appraiser, so I took lots of appraisal classes, and I'd take them as crash courses. You could go away for 2 weeks or something and take the full class. And so I would do that and go travel around the country a little bit to do that and get educated. And then I just taught myself the business. Yeah. And I would recommend someone who wants to be an entrepreneur to look at that. And I never worked for anybody after the time I was maybe 23. I never worked for anybody again.
Yeah.